Lucy was a frail, timid girl who always seemed to draw the attention of bullies at her school. Her small frame, shy demeanor, and lack of confidence made her an easy target. Every day, she endured the laughter, the cruel pranks, and the whispers behind her back. One rainy afternoon, Lucy trudged home with tears streaming down her face. The bullies had struck again, tearing her beloved school bag to shreds and scattering her books across the muddy playground. She had begged them to stop, but they only laughed harder, calling her names as she scrambled to collect her things. Her hands clutched the remnants of her bag as she walked along the deserted path that cut through the woods near her house. The sky was gray, and the trees swayed ominously in the wind. As she wiped her tears away, she noticed a hunched figure sitting on a fallen tree up ahead. The figure was that of an old woman, her face hidden beneath a tattered hood. Lucy hesitated. Something about the woman made her uneasy, but there was also an odd sense of familiarity, as if she had seen her before. "Child," the woman called, her voice raspy but kind. "Why do you cry so?" Lucy stopped in her tracks. She glanced around, realizing there was no one else nearby. Slowly, she approached the woman, clutching the torn bag to her chest. "The kids at school," Lucy began, her voice trembling. They tore my bag and made fun of me. They always make fun of me." The old woman tilted her head, her pale eyes glinting in the dim light. "Children can be cruel," she said. "But no one deserves to feel powerless." Lucy nodded, biting her lip. She wasn't sure why she felt so comfortable talking to this stranger, but there was something soothing about her presence. The woman reached into the folds of her cloak and pulled out a bag. It was unlike anything Lucy had ever seen. Made of dark, glossy material that seemed to shimmer and shift like liquid, it looked almost alive. Strange symbols were etched into its surface, faintly glowing. "Take this," the woman said, holding the bag out to Lucy. "It will protect you." Lucy hesitated. "Protect me? How?" The old woman smiled, her teeth unnervingly sharp. "You'll see. But be warned, power comes with a price." Before Lucy could respond, the woman disappeared, melting into the shadows of the woods as if she had never been there. The next morning, Lucy examined the strange bag under the pale morning light. It was lighter than it appeared, yet sturdy. She felt an odd warmth radiating from it, as if it were alive. She packed her books and supplies into the bag, noticing how they seemed to vanish into the endless dark interior. She felt uneasy, but curiosity and a sense of newfound hope spurred her on. At school, the usual crowd of bullies was waiting. The leader of the group, a tall boy named Max, smirked when he saw Lucy. "What's this? Got a new bag, huh?" he sneered. The others crowded around, eager to join in the fun. Max grabbed the bag from Lucy's hands, but as soon as his fingers touched the surface, his face went pale. He let out a strangled scream and dropped the bag, stumbling back. What is that thing?" Max gasped, his voice trembling. The bag landed upright on the ground, its surface shifting and pulsing. The glowing symbols flared to life, and a low, guttural growl emanated from within. The bullies backed away, their faces filled with terror. Lucy discovers that the bag has a mind of its own. It begins to protect her in ways she never imagined, scaring off bullies and anyone who tries to harm her. However, strange occurrences start happening around her, and she begins to wonder if the bag's power is more sinister than it seems. Lucy's life seemed to have taken a turn for the better, or so it appeared on the surface. Ever since she brought the mysterious bag to school, the bullying had stopped almost overnight. No one dared to taunt or tease her anymore, and for the first time in years, she felt a sense of peace and safety. But peace, she soon realized, came at a cost. It began with small, almost unnoticeable incidents. Max, the leader of her tormentors, didn't show up to school the day after the encounter with the bag. Whispers spread among the students that he had fallen sick, very sick. Lucy overheard snippets of conversation in the hallway. "He hasn't left his room since yesterday," one boy said. "Keeps screaming about shadows moving in his house. His mom says he refuses to sleep," another girl added. "He keeps saying something's watching him." Lucy couldn't help but feel a chill run down her spine. She remembered the way Max had screamed when he touched the bag, his face contorted in terror. Could the bag have done something to him? The thought lingered in her mind, but she pushed it aside. After all, Max had been cruel to her. Maybe he deserved whatever was happening to him. The next incident was harder to ignore. Lucy had been sitting in class, her bag resting on the floor beside her desk. One of her classmates, Mia, accidentally kicked it as she walked by. "Watch it," Lucy snapped, surprising even herself with the sharpness of her tone. Mia paused, looking down at the bag with a frown. "It's just a stupid bag," she muttered, giving it a light shove with her foot. As soon as her shoe made contact, a strange sound filled the room. It was low and guttural, like a growl, but it seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere all at once. Mia froze, her face pale. Did anyone else hear that?" she stammered, looking around. The other students exchanged confused glances, but no one else seemed to have heard the sound. Lucy, however, had heard it loud and clear. She glanced down at the bag, which sat perfectly still, as if it were mocking her. That evening, Lucy learned that Mia hadn't returned home after school. Her disappearance became the talk of the town, with search parties scouring the nearby woods and posters plastered across every street corner. Lucy couldn't shake the feeling that the bag had something to do with it. Over the next few weeks, similar incidents occurred. Anyone who so much as looked at Lucy the wrong way seemed to suffer some sort of misfortune. A teacher who scolded her too harshly fell down a flight of stairs the next day, breaking his leg. A group of girls who whispered behind her back found their lockers mysteriously flooded with a foul-smelling black liquid. The bag remained quiet through it all, but Lucy began to notice subtle changes. The strange symbols etched into its surface seemed to glow more brightly, especially when someone upset her. Sometimes, she thought she heard faint whispers coming from inside it, but when she opened it, there was nothing unusual to see. She started to feel afraid, not of the bullies, but of the bag itself. One night, Lucy sat alone in her room, staring at the bag. It sat in the corner, its surface shimmering faintly in the moonlight. "What are you?" she whispered. The bag, of course, didn't respond. But as she continued to stare, she thought she saw the symbols shift slightly, as if they were alive. She quickly looked away, her heart pounding. She tried to remember the old woman who had given her the bag. Who was she? Why had she given Lucy such a thing? The woman's words echoed in her mind, "Power comes with a price." Lucy was beginning to understand what that price was. The breaking point came when one of her only friends, a quiet girl named Emily, accidentally bumped into her in the hallway. "Sorry, Lucy," Emily said with an apologetic smile. "I didn't mean to." "It's fine," Lucy interrupted, her tone sharper than she intended. Emily's face fell, but she nodded and walked away. Lucy felt a pang of guilt but pushed it aside. She was tired of always being the one to apologize. That evening, Lucy received a phone call from Emily's mother. "Lucy, have you seen Emily? She didn't come home after school, and we can't find her anywhere." Lucy's blood ran cold. She thought of the bag, sitting innocently on her bedroom floor. She didn't know how or why, but she was certain it was connected to Emily's disappearance. She tried to get rid of the bag that night, throwing it into the woods behind her house. But when she returned to her room, it was there, sitting in the same spot as before. The whispers grew louder, and the symbols pulsed with a menacing light. Lucy realized she couldn't escape the bag, or the consequences of using its power, the old woman reappears in Lucy's dreams, warning her about the price of using the bag's power. Lucy learns that the bag is cursed, feeding on fear and negative emotions to grow stronger. Lucy discovers that the bag is not just a protective item but a vessel for a demon bound by the witch. The demon's power grows each time it frightens or harms someone. Lucy tries to stop the bag's influence by refusing to let it harm others, but the bag begins to act on its own. It starts targeting even innocent people, leaving Lucy desperate to find a way to destroy it. Lucy stood in the heart of the woods, clutching the cursed bag tightly in her trembling hands. The moonlight streamed through the canopy above, casting long, shifting shadows on the forest floor. She had returned to the place where she first encountered the witch, desperate for answers. "Show yourself," Lucy yelled, her voice cracking but resolute. "I know you're here. You gave me this bag, now tell me how to get rid of it." For a moment, there was only silence, save for the rustling of the wind through the trees. Then, from the shadows, the hunched figure of the witch emerged, her tattered cloak trailing behind her. Her face was partially obscured by her hood, but Lucy could feel the weight of her piercing gaze. "I warned you," the witch said, her voice rasping like dry leaves. "Power comes with a price. Did you think you could wield it without consequences?" Lucy stepped forward, her fear replaced by anger. "I didn't ask for this. You gave me this bag, I just wanted the bullying to stop. I never wanted people to get hurt." The witch tilted her head, her pale eyes glinting in the moonlight. "And yet, you let the bag do as it pleased. You basked in the safety it gave you, even as it sowed fear and destruction around you. You may not have wanted this, child, but you allowed it." Lucy's grip on the bag tightened. She wanted to argue, to deny it, but deep down, she knew the witch was right. She had ignored the warnings, ignored the signs, because for once in her life, she had felt powerful. "What do I do?" Lucy asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "How do I stop it?" The witch stepped closer, her gnarled hand reaching out to touch the bag. The symbols on its surface flared brightly, and the bag seemed to growl in protest. The witch withdrew her hand, her expression grim. "The bag is a vessel," she explained. "It contains a demon bound by ancient magic. The more fear and pain it feeds on, the stronger it becomes. To destroy it, you must confront the demon directly. But be warned, the battle will not be easy. It will prey on your deepest fears, your insecurities, and your guilt. You must overcome them, or the bag will consume you as well." Lucy swallowed hard, her resolve hardening. "I'll do it. Just tell me how." The witch handed her a small, jagged dagger made of obsidian. "Pierce the heart of the bag with this. It will release the demon. Once it's free, you must face it without faltering. Only then can you banish it." Lucy nodded, clutching the dagger tightly. The witch's words echoed in her mind as she turned and walked deeper into the woods, the bag's growls growing louder with every step. When she reached a clearing, the bag began to thrash violently in her hands, its surface shifting and pulsing as if alive. Lucy hesitated for a moment, fear clawing at her chest. Then, with a deep breath, she plunged the dagger into the center of the bag. A deafening roar erupted as the bag exploded in a cloud of dark, swirling smoke. The shadows coalesced into a monstrous figure, its glowing eyes burning with malice. The demon towered over Lucy, its form constantly shifting between solid and ethereal. "You dare to challenge me?" the demon hissed, its voice reverberating through the clearing. Lucy took a step back, her hands trembling. The demon's presence was overwhelming, its aura suffocating. It began to whisper, its voice dripping with venom. "You're weak," it sneered. "You've always been weak. That's why they bullied you, why no one stood up for you. You think you can defeat me? You're nothing without me." Lucy's mind swirled with doubt and fear, but she forced herself to stand tall. "You're wrong," she said, her voice shaking but firm. "I don't need you. I'm stronger than you think." The demon laughed, its form growing larger. "Prove it, little girl. Let's see how strong you really are." Lucy closed her eyes, focusing on the memories that gave her strength, her love for her parents, her dreams of a better future, and the small victories she had achieved despite her struggles. She thought of Emily, of the people she had unintentionally hurt, and vowed to make things right. When she opened her eyes, she faced the demon head-on. "You don't scare me," she said, her voice steady. The demon roared and lunged at her, but Lucy didn't flinch. She held her ground, confronting the shadows with unwavering determination. As the demon's claws came within inches of her, its form began to waver. "No!" it screamed, its voice filled with desperation. "You can't." It was too late. Lucy's courage had severed the demon's hold. Its form disintegrated into a cloud of ash, which scattered in the wind. Lucy collapsed to her knees, her chest heaving. The bag lay at her feet, empty and lifeless. She had won, but at what cost? In the days that followed, Lucy returned to school. The bullying had stopped, not because of fear, but because Lucy carried herself differently. She no longer hid in the shadows or avoided eye contact. She spoke up in class, defended herself when others tried to put her down, and even made new friends, but the bag still haunted her. She had buried it deep in the woods, wrapping it in layers of cloth and sealing it in a box. Yet sometimes, in the dead of night, she thought she heard faint whispers calling to her. One evening, as she sat in her room, a shadow flickered across the wall. She turned, her heart pounding, but nothing was there. The whispers grew louder, and for a moment, she thought she saw the symbols etched into her desk, the same symbols that had been on the bag. Lucy tried to shake off the feeling, but she couldn't ignore the nagging thought in the back of her mind. Had she truly destroyed the demon, or had she merely delayed its return? The story ends with Lucy staring out her bedroom window, the moonlight casting long shadows across the floor. The faint sound of a growl echoes in the distance, leaving the reader to wonder if the bag's power was truly gone, or if it was waiting for the right moment to strike again.